السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
نرحب بكم من جديد في دروس اللغة العربية، كتاب اللغة العربية بين يديك. ونحن الآن في الوحدة السادسة، وهذه الوحدة عن الصلاة. Alhamdulillah, this subject we are familiar with, and many words we already know. So we know the 5 prayers, which is Fajr, Al-Dhuhr, Al-Asr, Al-Maghrib, Al-Isha. الآن, we learned before, if I'd like to ask about something, where, what do I say? أين. أين. Now, when I talk to the second party, and I'd like to use the verb يصلي, so what form I use now? تصلي. أين تصلي? And I can put after that any salah I like. For example, الظهر. أين تصلي الظهر? What I say?
Where do you pray Dhuhr?
Yeah. أين تصلي الظهر? Now, if I'd like to ask about the 5 prayers, so again I say أين تصلي الصلوات الخمسة.
So why is salawat majrur?
نعم. الآن, we have here a new word. We know salah, which is mufrad, singular salah. الجمع صلوات. الجمع صلوات. Now, to make it definite, what we add? Add. So it becomes الصلوات. No, so الصلاة is mufrad. الصلوات is جمع. Now, maybe you notice in the Quran, you'll find the word as-salah written like this. Yeah? Have you noticed that you'll find salah in the Quran, you'll find it like this? Yeah, there's one. If you look in the Mus'haf, you'll find the word salah in most and the zakah written like this. So this is the singular. This is the mufrad. Now when we change it to jama', what we done? So this becomes open. And this originally fatha becomes alif. So as-salawat. We call this jama' mu'annath salim. What we call it?
Jama' mu'annath salim.
So sound, feminine, plural. Sound, feminine, plural. Jama' mu'annath salim. What do we mean by jama' mu'annath salim? When we make the singular plural without breaking the structure of the word in itself. So if we don't break the structure of the word in itself and make it jama', this we call it salim. There is mudhakkar salim and there is mu'annath salim. So here, the structure of the word salah originally, which was before, if I move this. So I didn't change the structure of the word. I just added, and actually it is just to stretch the fatha to a and change the ta marbuta to ta maftuha. So now, الجمع المؤنث السالم takes ضمة and takes كسرة, but doesn't take فتحة. Doesn't take فتحة.
So when it's mansoob, it takes kasra.
Yes. So here it is منصوب, but بكسرة. منصوب بكسرة. So this is the rule of جمع المؤنث السالم. So I say رأيت البنات. I don't say رأيت البنات. رأيت المسلمات. إن المؤمنات. So and there is a long ayah in Surah Al-Ahzab, إن المؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والخاشعين والخاشعات. So you'll find it like this. So this is the first grammatical rule in this. So جمع المؤنث السالم if it is مرفوع مرفوع بالضمة, if it is مجرور مجرور بالكسرة, if it is منصوب also منصوب بالكسرة. So أين تصلي الصلوات الخمسة؟ الصلوات المفعول به and الخمسة is نعت. الخمسة is نعت. And this is why الخمسة منصوب بالفتحة. Not بالجر because it is originally it should follow this one because this originally must be with فتحة but here we make it with كسر. So أين تصلي الصلوات الخمسة? Now as we learned the answer for أين تصلي or أين تفعل what I answer my answer will be أصلي. أصلي أصلي الظهر والعصر والمغرب والعشاء في مسجد بلال. في مسجد في المسجد الكبير. في مسجد طارق. في مسجد الغرباء. Okay? Let us practice this. أين تصلي الصلوات الخمسة؟
أصلي الفجر والظهر والعصر والمغرب والعشاء في مسجد الغرباء.
ما شاء الله. So أصلي الفجر والظهر والعصر والمغرب والعشاء في مسجد الغرباء. ما شاء الله. Well done. أين تصلي الفجر؟ أين تصلي الصلوات الخمسة؟
أصلي الصلوات الخمسة في المسجد في ألزبري.
في مسجد ألزبري. طيب الآن in our lesson قصي he said أصلي الظهر والعصر والمغرب والعشاء في مسجد بلال. What is missing then? الفجر. So his friend مصطفى قال وأين تصلي الفجر؟ وأين تصلي الفجر؟ ماذا قال؟
أين تصلي الفجر؟
الجواب
أصلي الفجر في البيت.
قال هو أصلي الفجر في البيت. And this is unfortunately the situation of many people. أصلي الفجر في البيت. يعني when you go to the masjid in the Fajr you'll find few people. But most of the people يصلون أين؟ في البيت. يصلون في البيت. فصديق مصطفى قال now he'd like to ask him why. So what he will say? لماذا؟ لماذا تصلي الفجر في البيت؟ ماذا قال؟
لماذا تصلي الفجر في البيت؟
لماذا تصلي الفجر في البيت؟ لماذا تصلي الفجر في البيت؟ Now here the people they will come with different excuses. يعني يجد عذر. excuse في العربية عذر. فهو يبحث عن عذر. فماذا قال؟ ماذا قال في الدرس؟ لا أسمع الأذان. لا أسمع الأذان. Obviously, you know, if he is in this country, this is, you know, no one يسمع الأذان. Because unfortunately the adhan is in the masjid. It doesn't go out. So لا يسمع هو لا يسمع الأذان فقال أنا لا أسمع الأذان. أسمع is a new verb. So سمع الماضي سمع المضارع يسمع. So we say هو يسمع. هي تسمع. أنت تسمعين. أنا أسمع نحن
نسمع.
So again هو يسمع هي تسمع أنت تسمع أنت تسمعين أنا أسمع نحن نسمع فهو قال قصي قال أنا لا أسمع الأذان. So this is the excuse العذر الذي قاله قصي. So what the people will say, another excuses.
أستيقظ متأخرا.
أستيقظ متأخرا.
مسجد بعيد.
المسجد بعيد. Yes, المسجد بعيد. Other rules.
Duvet is too heavy. The duvet is too heavy to lift.
Did you hear that alarm?
لم أسمع المنبه. This is a new word. المنبه.
Alarm didn't go.
المنبه. So المنبه is the alarm. And we know these days there's different types of alarms. So there's alarm, there is radio alarm, مذياع, there is phone, هاتف. يعني هناك منبه في الهاتف. أيضا هناك منبه في الساعة. هناك منبه
Adhan clock.
في الساعة. أذان clock, ساعة الأذان. ساعة الأذان, which is the best way to be, because it says Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And actually you can make your mobile to make Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, to make the alarm in itself, to say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And according to the experience, this is better than all the other ways, because subhanallah, when the word of Allah comes, it will kick the shaitan, so your ability to wake up and to come better than the other alarms. I read or I heard a new Muslim, and mashallah he was a dedicated one. They asked him, what's your experience with Adhan al-Fajr? He said, Salat al-Fajr was one of my main problems, because I used to wake at a certain time, 7, 8, it depends on my work. Then after that I have to wake up at different times. So he said, I bought 3 alarms. So I put one next to me and one in the hall and one in the toilet in itself. So when the first one rings, sometimes I stop it, then the other one goes off. So to put it off, then I have to walk. Then the one in the bathroom go off again, and by that time I'm in the toilet, so I have no option. I have to make wudu. And subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this in the Quran about the people who try to find an excuse to stay away from jihad. The munafiqeen in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said, ولو أرادوا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about them, ولو أرادوا الخروج لأعدوا له. If they like to go with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was going in Ghazwa Tabuk, they will prepare for it. ولكن كره الله بعثهم. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like them to go even, because they are munafiqeen, and unfortunately their role will be just to let the people down, not to encourage them. And subhanallah, when I read this, I say the same rule goes with to prepare yourself for Salat al-Fajr. So really, if you'd like to wake up for Salat al-Fajr, you prepare for it. Don't rely on yourself. I'll wake up. Akhi, especially these days when you go to bed late and these things, it's difficult.
Subhanallah, it's, last 2 months I've been trying to pray Fajr in the masjid. I was thinking last night, I was a bit late because there was a new Muslim and I was talking to him and things, so then I got to go home. And I was just going to bed late, and I was thinking, now I'm going to wake up because Allah is making me wake up. And even though I'm tired, Allah will help me wake up. And inshallah, you put the effort in, Allah will start making it easy for you.
Yes. So really, when you make the intention, when you make the adhkar before you go sleep, and you prepare, because these days, alhamdulillah, all these facilities available. So
these are the best times to pray in the masjid, because you can go back and have a good sleep. Even after.
So our friend here in the lesson, he said, لا أسمع الأذان.